Hello everyone, warm welcome to our today's webinar, A Guide to Advanced Machine Building with Zenon. Today with me, there will be our guest speaker, Jani Majerič from VIPOLL, and my colleague from our office in Slovenia, in Ljubljana, Dejan Sršen. We will cover many topics regarding the machine building, but first we will share some info for those who are first time with us about EXOR ETI, about COPA-DATA as a companies. So we can switch to machine building and show some references. Maybe the most interesting topic for today will be our guest speaker, Jani, with project with Zenon in food and beverage in VIPOLL, and also the Q&A session. You have the Q&A option in your desk, in your screens, and you can post the questions in Q&A. There is also a chat. You can use the chat, but for the questions, maybe the best way would be Q&A. Also, after our webinar, you will have a chance to fill out the short form. We will appreciate your opinion, and we will try to fulfill all the insights you share with us. So let's start with our portfolio. EXOR ETI is software and hardware distributor and representative of many different companies worldwide. So we are offering solutions for energy, industry automation. As today's topic is COPA-Data, you'll see other companies that we represent. And we have 3 offices in Slovenia, Croatia, and Serbia. And we are covering 8 countries. We have 10 partnering companies that we are distributor of, and with 12 employees and more than 500 customers in our region. Regarding COPA-Data, COPA-Data is a software development company, manufacturer of Zenon software. They have experienced more than 35 years now, more than 5,000 customers, and more than 300,000 installations worldwide. We are also part of COPA-Data partner community with more than 450 members worldwide. Together with COPA-Data, we are doing sales, we are doing technical support, we have our own technical support and providing professional services to our customers and partners, and also we are providing professional trainings and certifications based on COPA-Data standard. Zenon is covering 4 key industries, starting with food and beverage as today's topic, also in energy and infrastructure, also pharmaceutical and automotive. As I mentioned, more than 300,000 installations are already worldwide. Zenon, as a scalable and flexible software, can provide you with openness with more than 300 drivers and communication protocols, and makes our life easier in the world of automation. COPA-Data is a member of different well-known companies and standards like Weinstefan, like Sunspec, like Microsoft, OMAC, ISP, and OPC Foundation. With Zenon, you can cover many different industries, many different solutions, as a packaging line, as HMI machines, which is our today's topic, also energy management, and in energy and renewables, solar, PV, SCADA, utilities supervision, plant information management, and many more that you will see today. Let's start with some topics regarding today's topic, machine building. Let's make first a brief overview what we can do with Zenon, for example, in pharmaceutical. From the bottom, there are GMP operations like data integrity, modular monitoring system, building management system, and then let's go up to line execution system, continuous manufacturing, different HMIs, which we will see today, MTP or modular process automation with MTP standard that we will present a little bit later, and also automation integration layer where we can connect IT and OT networks with different systems like SAP or different ERPs and so on. In food and beverage, it's almost similar for energy data management, utilities, building automation, quality management, process automation, of course, line management with HMI solutions, with the references focusing on today's webinar from VIPOLL and other different companies. Also, IT/OT integration with plant information management, connecting with different third-party solutions and upstream services, like I mentioned, different ERP or MES systems. So let's jump into more details with my colleague Dan.
Thanks, Oliver. So, okay. So let's now look more in details why Zenon is the best choice for your HMI. So with Zenon, you get complete platform. So you can cover data collection with our native Zenon drivers. You can enrich this data with help of our integrated soft PLC. Then we enable you with easy design process through parameterization to set up your visualization. We have a strong focus on security, so you can have your physical users, unlimited number of users with 128 authorization levels. So you can set your customized visualization for each of the users. And here on this screen, we have some few details more from the pharma industry, these benefits from the pharma industry. This quality is also something that can be used, is also beneficial for other industries, discrete industry, food and beverage industry. For example, because Zenon is GAMP 5 category 4 software, which means configurable software. Configurable software means that you don't have to worry about maintaining your software. You just worry about maintaining your Zenon project. So, as I said, we have our native Zenon drivers, which means we want to be hardware independent, or rather manufacturer independent software. So you can connect to any kind of device in your field. And then we offer the same range of flexibility to communicate with a higher level systems. So we have our, as Dalibor has already mentioned, we have possibilities of connecting to different ERPs. We have a SAP interface in a pharma industry. Its most common MES is PASIX. So we have Verum PASIX interface to exchange data. And if you want that Zenon is your OPC UA server, we have our process gateway OPC UA, and also through other protocols, which you can look up in our data sheet. So we have a wide range of flexibility to communicate through different protocols with superordinate system. If we stick to OPC UA, so we have a driver when you want Zenon to be a client and through OPC UA protocol, or if you want Zenon to be a server, you can use our Zenon OPC UA process gateway. So how would it look, one example of operation if you would have Zenon as your HMI? So a user would log in, enter username and password. So date and time would be automatically synchronized with the computer network. Then you would set batch ID and batch parameters. User would prepare machine for production. Then you would load the recipe. User selects recipe from a list. Each recipe contains critical process parameter limits and set points for any product. So, and then you would start your production. Zenon starts logging the data. Zenon detects during the production changes to CPP set points. You then have an audit trail through our chronological event list. Zenon logs all changes and detects deviations. After end of a particular batch, Zenon produces batch report, which includes deviations, and Zenon saves electronic records either in our native Zenon archive, or we export it to a third-party data storage. So let's talk a bit also about MTP. So as now this is more and more known standard in process industry, with Zenon you can configure, edit, create your project in any of the layers according to MTP. So with machine builders, this is the most important layer. Let's say topic is the process equipment assembly layer, which means that you create your HMI with all necessary data points, defined protocols, visualization, and so on. And you can configure your equipment with our MTP Studio for PA layer. Then the end customer, the end user, will need a process orchestration layer to include your assets according to MTP standard, and you include your equipment into your process orchestration layer in our Zenon MTP Studio, which is a kind of a wizard integrated in Zenon platform. You can integrate not only from the Zenon side MTP files, or rather your equipment, but also from other manufacturers, as long as they are compliant with MTP. And in the MTP Studio of Zenon, you can also validate your MTP files. So you can check beforehand if MTP file yours or from other manufacturer, from the perspective of process orchestration, is compliant with MTP. We also have MTP Gateway to integrate your existing legacy equipment if you wanted that. If you have a greenfield investment, rather brownfield investment project, that you can integrate your legacy equipment and new equipment so that everything is MTP compliant. And then, of course, as I have already mentioned, we have a wide range of possibilities to communicate with IT levels. And with Zenon 14, which will be released in a couple of weeks, we have 6 chapters currently compliant with MTP. And soon the MTP standard will be changed into IC 63280. So it will be this will be done within this year. So this is now really a mainstream standard direction where the process industry is going. So with Zenon, you can be sure that you can create your projects, your HMIs, your SCADA systems to be compliant with the MTP standard. And let's look at the references. So basically, our business model is we EXOR ETI and Copa-Data offer you technical support, consulting, trainings, and license sales. And then our partners, system integrators, machine builders, are there to implement the software for the end users. Some of the end users are here on the right screen. In food and beverage industry, you can recognize them. So, and machine builders and other references you can see on our under our success stories on Copa-Data webpage. I'll now briefly show you five references from machine builders. All these references will be also in the description in the video, which will be published on our YouTube channel, so you can read them in more details. But briefly, KHS, known machine builder that produces machines and equipment for filling and packaging. They use role-based user administration, smartphone app to visualize process data. And here you can see a visual setup of their HMI. Krones uses Zenon since 2001. I think it's the biggest producer of machines and equipment for filling and packaging. They also use Zenon for the HMIs. Sidel from Italy. So they produce machines also in the beverage industry. Again, in details, these here the screenshots the most interesting, but the details that can be read through case studies in our success story webpage, which again will be included in the YouTube video. So Bausch Strobel now in pharma industry, also from Germany, produces around 300 machines per year. Uses Zenon since 2009, and they have a direct driver for a total of more than 300 controllers. And Haro Hoflinger, also from Germany, as using Zenon since 2004. Okay, this will be it from my side. And now the most interesting part, a case study, a reference from Slovenia. And I will invite Jani to start sharing his screen and present us a success story with Zenon and GEA VIPOLL. Please, Jani. You have to unmute yourself.
Thank you, Dejan. Welcome to everyone. So VIPOLL. It's a small company in Slovenia located in Bučečovci. It employs 130 employees. Known worldwide, it has over 30 years of experience in F&B. And since May this year, we became a part of the filling and packaging group with Transpac, Lamprecht, and the New Crown service. So Transpac is also a company in Slovenia. We've been working with them for a long time, even before the merger. They are specialized in packaging and unpackaging materials. Then Lamprecht is our new partner in Belgium. They make complete cake lines. And then the New Crown service that modify and upgrade existing bottling equipment to meet current standards and everything. So our market position, we are, like I said, worldwide. Our most important is Europe. There you can see all of our machines. But we also have some in Russia, Australia, Americas, and South Africa. You can see that the most leading line is the glass fillers. We have 82 of them around the world, 50 PET fillers, and then only one new hype. Over the years, we gathered a lot of customers. You can see some more important ones like Heineken or PepsiCo, Danone. We also work with a lot of private breweries, mostly in Germany and Austria. They use smaller fillers for their beers and everything. So the products that VIPOLL makes, we have specialized fillers like glass, can, and PET, which can run up from 30,000 to 50,000 containers per hour. The fairly new product is the all-in-one filler, which can fill all the containers with a simple format change that takes up to maybe an hour, even less sometimes if you're practicing it. The new product that we have is the small-in-one filler, which is mainly focused at smaller breweries that need the capacity for up to 10,000 containers per hour. Now, the interesting thing about this one is, if you see the housing of the filler, its dimensions it fits into a shipping container. So we just put a shipping container around it and just ship it to the customer. So there's no little installation time. Only the peripherals need to go away, like the valve block and the elevators and such. So like I said, what we know for are all the all-in-one fillers for glass and PET and such. And the reduced changeover times, that is the most important thing that the all-in-one fillers offer. Also, all other product innovation like pods filling and combining different capping technologies in one single turret, the ultra clean solutions. The next big thing is the elimination of tunnel pasteurization. That's something that a lot of companies will be interested in. And then the HMI and SCADA, which is what I do in the company. So here are some of the older versions of the HMIs that we use. This is from the BNR. We also have Siemens, but I couldn't get any pictures of it. But anyway, it looks similar to this. So anyway, you can see we have some different iterations and different machines. This one is a carbonization unit on the left side, and then the filler units on the right. So the technologies that we use are BNR and Siemens. The most commonly used is BNR due to it because it's cheaper than Siemens. But lately we've had a lot of quotes for Siemens, mainly with the bigger customers like Heineken or Zenon or such. So the reason we went to use SCADA is a unified HMI. You can see before we had a lot of different things in the back. And now we have very similar HMIs, especially down, you can see on the carbonization unit and the conveyor unit, the lower two. Then the filler is a bit different, and I'll explain why later. So the process HMI has a valve scheme that you can see. On the right side is a simple carbonization unit, and on the left you can see the entire system for filtration unit, carbonization unit, suprapack, and such. Conveyor is pretty similar, except that it has fewer functions. And you can see that it has a layout of the entire filling line with all the sensors and the motors that you can check. You can also see the minimap here that you can navigate to. The same is on the process line. And then the filler, like I said, it's a bit different than the other two, mainly because it's more complicated than the other two. It has a lot more settings like stepping, filling valve calibrations, and everything else. So we decided to go a bit different. We are planning to make it the same as the other two, but for now, this is the first iteration and we're going with it. So when we were designing the HMI, we had simplicity in mind. So we only have the main screen and everything else is dialogues. You can see here, all of these dialogues will be pretty much the same for all the machine, except which dialogues will open, that depends on the machine. Like this one down here with the circle, this is the conveyor settings. Then we have the filling head settings and all the recipes and menus and such. Here also, I can show you the engineering studio from Zenon, how we designed the project. So basically, we have a VIPOL toolbag. That's a global project that we use in every project. It houses all of our custom-made symbols. You can see here the buttons, the sensors, and everything, all the fonts, the style groups, and the colors. Now, the good thing about this is if we update this, every new project will always have the updated version of the toolbag. Plus, if we want to change colors and everything, we can just simply change colors here and update it with the new projects and maybe even the older ones. We haven't tested it yet, but we'll see. So another thing that we had before, but was a bit simple, we only had for the recipe management, in BNR, we only had like 50 elements and we would fill them up. And then if you had more than 50 elements, you would either have to update the program, software, or even hardware, which was quite complicated sometimes and pretty pricey. So with the recipe management system, this is the standard Zenon page you can see here. It's a lot easier to implement and we use it. We only added the export to USB or to a file, which means that if something happens to the machine, with the previous machine, you would probably lose everything and you would have to refill the entire recipes manually most of the time. And with this, you can import all of the recipes in a couple of seconds. On the right side, however, you can see our recipe that we made, which is a simpler version than the standard version, because I noticed that operators usually don't have any experience with file management systems and everything. So I made it as simple as possible. They can just add a new recipe and save and load values. So like I said, we try to keep it as simple as possible so that operators don't have too much to work with. Another great thing that Zenon offers is the chronological event list. It records every value changes, everything that the operator does, presses button, everything, which is good for us because when we try to diagnose something and something doesn't work, usually don't know what happened. You can check here, and if the operator changed something, you can say, hey, you changed that, put it back to how it was, and it should work okay. And it's not just for that, you can also see if there was sensor activated or anything that before that needed to be activated for something to work properly. So again, this is the standard Zenon version. We don't change it much because we don't need to. And then with the trends, we had them before, but they were a lot harder to implement, especially with PNR. With Siemens, it was easier, but with Zenon, it's a lot easier to do it. And we have a couple of different trends. Like this is a pop-up version that already has predefined values that the operator needs to check, and he can also customize it if he wants. Then we have this trend here that's a quick trend. It only shows 10 minutes, and we use it to set up the PID systems. And once you set up the PID, you can quickly see all the changes that are happening and adjust accordingly. Then the last is the standard Zenon page with a little addition down here. The standard page has all the filters and everything, but again, for operators, it might be overwhelming to use. So I added this list down here. You can drag it up and down, and then just drag and drop any value inside and see all the values on the graph here. So that again makes it a lot simpler for the operators to use and a lot quicker to see what's happening and everything. Another thing that we designed are the widgets. When you have the filling scheme and everything, it's usually pretty big and you don't see everything that's going on. And you always have to zoom in and out and everything. So with the widgets, you can choose what you want to see, and all of these pop-ups show up, like pressure settings and temperature values, flow values, and then conductivity and such. And once you open these up, this will always stay on, and you can just check them every time you want without zooming in and out, and it's a lot less time consuming. And then the last thing, the reports, which is what we didn't have before. So this is made with the Zenon report viewer. And on the left, you can see a simple HTML site that accesses the file system where the reports are saved. And you can open it up and see what's going on. So here we have the integrity test. So what this does, it shows you the integrity test of filters. And you can see from the from the report if you need to change or service the filters and everything. We also plan on using the report engine from Zenon. We already have a customer that demands a full line analysis and all the reports that come with it, all the alarms and the pressures and everything. So we will be using the report engine also, not just the report viewer and the Microsoft report builder. So that's pretty much it. That's the quick presentation of my company and what we do there and all the projects that we have. So now back to Dalibor and Dejan. Thank you.
Thank you, Jani. Really nice project, and thank you for joining us today. So we can move to Q&A session. You can still post the questions. There are already several questions. Just see. Yeah. How is the licensing structure in Zenon? Okay, maybe then can you say this?
Okay, but before that, let me also thank you to Jani, and we have really seen how easy it is to how efficient engineering can be with Zenon, and also excellent user interface HMI for the end customer. So really interesting. Okay, regarding licensing, we have two packages. If we let's say use terminology from MTP, for PA level, we can offer you operator, which includes all necessary functionalities for machine builders. And then for higher levels, for pole level, you would use supervisor. But you would always use the same software installation, just we adapt licensing so it's optimal solution for each use case. So yeah, you please contact us if you would need any more details regarding the licensing.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Next one is the time of development. How much time is needed for development of the project or the HMI? Maybe I can just say quickly that we have several template projects with all graphical things and that our customers can use, reuse, and also the engineering in Zenon is as simple as possible. There are smart objects also, which can be reused multiple times, and this shortens the time of development a lot. Just briefly, maybe we can discuss. Please contact us. We can share with you all demo and template projects, so we can discuss further. And yeah, there is another one. What are the compatibility features, updating and compatibility with the old projects? I think Jani mentioned this. Maybe then just briefly. So the compatibility between the old versions and new versions and the updates, if I understand this question.
Yes, this is a good question. So Zenon is backward compatible. So all older versions, no matter how old, can be how do you say it in English? Can be reused and converted to new versions at the click of a button. So Zenon checks that all settings are made so that the project is as similar as possible to another projects. So we don't just convert it all to default settings. Zenon software checks settings in order project and compares it with the new version, new functionalities in new version, and then adapts it that it's the same as the old Zenon project. And maybe just that you can also have an older server and a newer client in terms of Zenon versions in the Zenon network.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I don't see any new questions. So maybe to wrap up everything, yeah, we're out of time. Let's keep this really short. Once again, Jani, thank you. And big thanks to all the participants. The video will be available in our YouTube channel. You can visit it. After the webinar, you will get a short form to fill. Please fill it and tell us what to do next and how you are satisfied with this. And also you can contact us. There are contact details in this last slide. Also contact people directly if you need their services regarding all the questions. So we are all at your disposal. And once again, thank you all for joining us today, and see you in next webinars or in direct contact. Have a nice day.